Them good old boys might not have meant any harm, but unfortunately, intention isn't everything. Here are 5 harmful things about the Dukes of Hazzard. Number 1, it prominently featured Confederate imagery. Even more than John Schneider and Tom Wopat, or Catherine Bach and her denim cutoffs, the star of the Dukes of Hazzard was the Duke's 1969 Dodge Charger, nicknamed the General Lee, with a Confederate flag, the flag of the army that fought to defend slavery in the American Civil War, painted on the roof. You can't watch an episode of the show without seeing that flag all over the place, which is the main reason why now, for the most part, you can't watch an episode of the show. But the General Lee with its rebel flag roof is just the beginning. Number 2, it depicted a romanticized South. It's easy to see why the Dukes of Hazzard was so popular. It's an affectionate celebration of the American South and its cherished traditions, which is affable and non-threatening enough for Yankees to enjoy too. In the show, there is no injustice that can't be overcome by a fast car and a bit of farm boy ingenuity. The local authorities are corrupt, but they're also easily thwarted buffoons who never do any real harm. Most everybody is dirt poor, yet they still lead lives of breathless adventure. And there's no racism to speak of, mostly because there are almost no black folks to speak of. Number 3, it whitewashed the Deep South. While it wasn't unusual for American network television shows in the 1970s and 80s to feature few or no black performers, that lack of diversity is particularly glaring on a show set in a region of the country with a long history of sometimes violent racial inequality and centered on a pair of heroic white country boys who race around the county in the aforementioned General Lee. The problem wasn't lost on the show's creator, Guy Waldron, who tried to compensate by casting black guest stars as authority figures, including as the sheriff of a neighboring county. But even so, the scarcity of black faces in a series set in rural Georgia, where that fucking car is practically the lead protagonist, is a little tough to just shrug off. Number 4, it reinforced right-wing anti-government narratives. In the late 70s and early 80s, the Republican Party was shifting its message to attract more working-class voters by appealing to tradition, low-key white supremacy, and resentment of the government. Though it almost certainly wasn't intentional on the part of the show's creators, the Dukes of Hazzard provided this new American conservatism with its ideal mascots in the Dukes, who rebelled against crooked government officials and embodied rugged individualism. In the pilot episode, Bo tells his girlfriend that Uncle Jesse would rather starve than accept government assistance. Now there's a real American. Number 5, it encouraged people to minimize casual racism. You won't find any willful bigotry on the Dukes of Hazzard. Even that flag was intended to represent Southern pride. It's the same heritage, not hate line of horseshit that people still try to sell today. But just because the racism wasn't intentional doesn't mean that we shouldn't notice it. If instead of this, the roof of the Duke's car looked like this, we'd recognize the problem immediately. Well, most of us would anyway. But this, we view this as different somehow. Because this has been normalized, even to those of us who detest it. And it wasn't hate-spewing, cross-burning racists who normalized it. It was folks like Bo and Luke. Just good old boys. Wouldn't change if they could. The hardest part is picking only 5. Catch you next time. Hey folks, hope you found this one worthwhile. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks for watching.